Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hope you're staying warm. This commentary is pertaining to the arrest affidavit of Michael McKee. You're going to get a lot of details pertaining to the evidence that led to authorities apprehending him, naming him the suspect in the Tepe murders, and also information alleged by persons known to Monique Tepe, information of abuse, serious abuse, sexual SA, so on and so forth. I'm going to piggyback off of Banfield. This is her Drop Dead Serious podcast here on YouTube, and then I'm going to bring forward information, bring my own commentary, and ask said questions. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Look for the shorts, the polls pertaining to the information in this live, and also follow me on the News Break app. Thank you for your time. You're now listening to the Vault Excel. This is Ashley Banfield. Thank you.
On December 30th, 2025, at 9:57 a.m., Columbus police officers were dispatched to 1411 North 4th Street on a check on the well-being of Dr. Spencer Tepe, who had not shown up for work. This is stuff we know, right? Officers arrived and found Dr. Tepe and his wife, Monique Tepe, deceased, inside, suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 minor children were found inside the home unharmed. Still hurts to hear that. Columbus Fire Medic number 7 responded and pronounced both victims deceased at 10:11 a.m. So guys, that means 14 minutes. They were on the scene 14 minutes and they pronounced them dead. It was clear, it was obvious. They didn't need to rush them to the hospital for that. They pronounced them dead within minutes. Columbus Police Homicide Unit Team number 2 was advised, responded, and initiated an investigation. Early on in the investigation, detectives were advised by identifiable friends and family of Monique Tepe. This is where it gets just jaw-dropping. That Monique had told them her ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, had been abusive and had made numerous threats on her life during and after their marriage. It doesn't say how many years, because don't forget, they're married in August. They are separated the following spring. I think it's 7 or 8 months. And then a year and 2 months later or so, the divorce goes through. And then this is like over 10 years after the marriage, right? Almost 11 years, I think, after the marriage, this murder happened. So the fact that she's reported to her friends, according to the cops, that this ex-husband of hers has made numerous threats on her life during and after their marriage. I wonder how long and how regular these alleged threats were. An identifiable witness told detectives that Monique Tepe had shared an allegation against Dr. Michael D. McKee of forced unwanted sex and strangulation. So again, an identifiable witness told detectives that Monique Tepe had shared an allegation against Michael McKee of forced unwanted sex and strangulation. Basically, that means she told her friends that he raped her and tried to kill her by strangling her. These are things that these friends of Monique Tepe's told the investigators after she's murdered, right? Another identifiable witness told detectives that Michael D. McKee had told Monique that he could, quote, kill her at any time and would find her and buy the house right next to her, that she would always be his wife. Now think about that. That's what Monique Tepe is living with. He could kill her at any time. He would find her and buy the house right next to her, and that she will always be his wife. I've got questions. I mean, I know you do too, right? If that's happening, how are you not knocking down the door of the local police detachment saying, help me, I'm scared, this is bad? And you're going to get an answer for why. Why not? In just a moment, don't go anywhere. Okay, during the investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect through neighborhood surveillance video. This suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after the homicides. We knew that. Here's something new. Video of this vehicle and very distinct features allowed detectives to identify both a stolen Ohio license as well as an Arizona license being displayed on it at different times. I know what you're thinking, and I'm thinking the exact same thing. We've covered a case just like this just in the last couple of months, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. 2 different license plates being swapped out on this vehicle. That's what police are saying. An Ohio plate that was stolen and an Arizona license. Wow, just wow. They think they're so smart. If McKee is guilty of this crime, what an idiot. What an absolute idiot. Just like someone we know from Lompoc, California. I'll get into that in a minute. Okay, further searches showed this vehicle to be associated with a past address of Michael McKee, as well as his current work address in Rockford, Illinois. Additional vehicle was obtained and showed McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicide. So that's new information. We knew that the police said that he was in possession of this vehicle. They never called it his vehicle. They said he's in possession of it before and after the homicide. The new information is that they've got this vehicle registered to a past address of his and a current work address in Rockford, Illinois, where he works. Yeah, children's hospital. Well, a children's center at that hospital. Detectives also recovered video of the same suspect entering the curtilage, that's the surrounding area of a home. I had to look it up. Basically your property, right? Your lawn, your front fence, your back yard, your garage, all that. Anything that get off my property, it's the curtilage. So detectives also recovered video of the same suspect entering the curtilage of 1411 North 4th Street on December 6th, 2025. December 6th. Did you catch that? December 6th, 24 days before the murders. And exiting a few hours later when the Tepes were away. Okay, well, let's just break that down for a hot minute. So they had video of this suspect going onto the property of the Tepes 24 days before the murders on December 6th, knowing full well the Tepes are away at this point, right? And spending a few hours there. A few hours on the property. Did he get inside? Was he inside the home? Was he working on the code? Was he working on a door frame? Was he working on ways to get in the house to make it look like there's no break and enter? What might have been happening? If he's guilty, what was he doing? In a few hours on this property while the Tepes are away. Wait till you hear where the Tepes were. Because that's going to blow your mind. Because all this is coming home to roost in a second. December 6th was a big day. And I remember December 6th intimately because it was the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis and my son was there. And I'm always afraid when my son is traveling because he's a kid, he's like 18 and I'm just scared. And so I remember being nervous. December 6th, is my son okay? Little did I know what was going on, in Ohio. So let me continue. Okay, so he's on the property allegedly for a few hours, and I think we can all imagine this is the dry run, right? If he's guilty, this is the planning, this is the how do I get in? There's a code, there's a security system, there's a window, there's a window, there's a window, there's a window. Let's try the code a few times, see what works. Let's try some dates and social security numbers and things I know from my ex-wife, whatever it is. Or am I taking tools and loosening window frames so that they can come off and then they can be just replaced back so that no one knows they're actually off. I don't know. If you have a security system, that stuff usually things right away. Again, I'm hinting ahead here. So I'll just give you the definition of curtilage because I literally am curtilage. Is that a typo? So I looked it up and I thought I'd just share it with you anyway. It's the area of land immediately surrounding a home that is considered part of the home for legal and privacy purposes, especially under the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, right? It typically includes spaces like a yard, a porch, or enclosed garden that a resident uses in daily domestic life, and law enforcement usually needs a warrant to search it, unlike open fields. So, get off my property, that's your curtilage. So from now on, you can say get off my curtilage. So the dates, there's December 6th. This is also just mind-blowing. And it is not good for Dr. McKee, let me tell you that. None of this is good for Dr. McKee. These dates are consistent with video recovered of the silver SUV and are consistent with dates which Michael D. McKee was not on the schedule at St. Anthony's Hospital. So he's got a few days off from work. I know what I do with a couple of days off from work, and it is not casing places for murder, that's for sure. But if the police are right, that's exactly what Dr. Michael McKee was doing. Yeah, if they're right, and if he's guilty, he is casing 24 days before a double murder, how to pull it off. You want evidence of premeditation to support aggravated murder? Hello, that's this.
Even you are the most trusted and
All right, brief intermission, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm playing a little bit of Banfield's Drop Dead Serious podcast to bring you the latest developments of an affidavit released to the public pertaining to the arrest of Michael McKee. I will be giving my commentary after she gives you the logistics of that affidavit. Thank you for joining me. Countdown to the Queen's birthday. It's tomorrow. Hey now. Thank you all so much for the love and support, kind comments. Continue to follow this network for stimulating commentary and information. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Paced it out, I did what, I don't know what we're gonna learn about what he actually did on the property allegedly that day for hours. I mean, my God, a few hours. Okay, so on January 9th, skip way ahead, we went from December 6th, 24 days before the murder, murder's December 30th, January 9th. January 9th, 2026, detectives seized the silver SUV bearing the Arizona temporary tag from the lot, where? Where do you think? At St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford, Illinois, where what happens? That's where Michael McKee works. That's where they arrested him, remember? He was at the restaurant. I think he might have just finished his shift or was going for lunch or something. But that's what they did, January 9th. They find that silver SUV, temp tag from Arizona, St. Anthony's Hospital, Rockford, Illinois.
Interesting.
Detectives noticed something about that vehicle, something that stands out. They noticed fresh scrape marks on the window where the sticker, which had been on the vehicle prior to the homicides, had been hastily removed. I'm going to get to that. Jen Coffendorfer has lots of information about what that likely is and why someone's scraping a sticker off their window. I had my theories as well. I'll hear that in a second. During the time of the homicides, Michael McKee's phone had been left at St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford, Illinois. And it showed no activity for approximately 17 hours from December 29th, 2025 until after 12 p.m. on December 30th, 2025. There's so much I have to unpack here. Okay, first of all, December 30th is a significant date in true crime, and I think you all know why. December 30th is the day they arrested Brian Kohberger. And why is it so significant here? Well, just a few hours earlier, Monique and Spencer Tepe had been pronounced dead, right, from these gunshot wounds, home invasion. But not only that, the phone issue, right? Michael McKee's phone is left at the St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford, Illinois, and has no activity for 17 hours. Who didn't leave his phone and made that cardinal mistake? Brian Kohberger. He took his phone with him, and he thought he would be so smart to turn it off while he was driving away and then turn it back on as he's driving back into his home. And then, that white Elantra is seen at the home of the murders. So it's so fascinating to hear that Michael McKee thinks about his phone. Did he know about Kohberger getting screwed? But
I'm going to interject and just break it down because, naturally she's going in and out and winded, giving her opinion. It'll take forever. This is the information released from the affidavit. Monique Tepe had given information to said persons that her husband had made threats to her during and after the marriage. When was the last time he threatened her? When was the last time he made contact with her personally by phone, text, email, message, pictures? When was the last time? She also said that he forcibly raped her and strangled her. How many times did he essay her and also strangle her? Is this the reason why she divorced Michael McKee. Michael McKee told Monique, and this is information she repeated to someone else, and they gave this information to law enforcement, that she will always be his wife. He could kill her at any time. He could buy a house next to her. Wow. You will always be my wife. I can find you anywhere. I'll even buy a house next to you. What'll be interesting if we find out he does have property in Ohio. He has money. He could buy a cheap old apartment just to have somewhere to crash while he looks for her, look around the property. Very interesting information. Okay? We learned it on December 6th. It is believed that he did a dry run to Ohio to the Tepe residence. He was on the property looking around. What was he doing? Tampering with doors, windows, that door pad, keypad to get in, trying to figure out different codes. Because I had said this to myself and possibly mentioned it in a live the other day. I can't see a person standing in a code trying to put in different codes. You literally have to have a list. You're going to be standing out the code of which ones to put in, putting them in backwards. You understand what I'm saying? It would take time. Now we know that he was doing something on the 6th. Okay? 24 days before he actually, allegedly, unalived this couple. This is very sickening. They have verified that he wasn't at work on the 6th. Same day he's traveled up to the Tepe residence to be pilfering around their house, doing crazy things. When he was arrested, they got information he had switched tags, stolen tags from Arizona, also Illinois, Illinois, and put on his own silver SUV registered to him to the Ohio, to the Rockford work address, which is a hospital, and also a pass address. And naturally, you can keep the same car, but you move around and you register it naturally to a new address when it's time to register your vehicle. Whose car did he steal the Arizona tag? Now you have to jog your memory back to the fact that we know that weapon use was in the ATF database, this NIDA database. Is there any correlation with the weapon and this Arizona tag? Whose tag is this? When did he steal it? So you see, he had been prepping to kill this lady. So see, we've got to find out when he last had contact with her. Had he been talking to her? But we do know that on December 6th, when they had the Big Ten game, he obviously made contact with Monique because she left the game abruptly during the second half, went back to the hotel in Indianapolis, distraught over something he obviously had said, done to her via phone, because that's what was told by eyewitnesses. She left the game because of something pertaining to her husband. So what did he do? What did he say? Was he on the property? It had showed pictures that he was on the property. So December 6th is very relevant because law enforcement has verification that he was there. Video surveillance shows him there. So I don't know whose camera they use. Could be the city cameras across the street, neighbors' cameras, their own cameras. But all this is going to be baffling because in your mind, we never heard that there were any reports against this man for stalking, harassment. So why wouldn't she call law enforcement? Why not call him and say, hey, he sent me this picture, this text, whatever, that he was on my property. He was near the property, whatever. Probably sent a picture of the house, the garage, letting her know, I'm here and I know you're away. So obviously he's been stalking this lady. How long had he been stalking her? How long has he been making contact with her? Has he been making any threats recently, before the murders, threatening her children, family members? What? We know he didn't unalive her kids, but it doesn't mean he didn't threaten the kids, threaten her mom, dad, whomever. Lots of questions. We now learned that Monique was shot more than one time. Why the police said once, I don't know. Maybe because that's all they saw at the time when they were at the scene. But once she got off from that location and put on the autopsy table, they could verify she was shot more than one time alongside her husband. Now we have to ask the questions. Did he wake her and the husband up? Because we learned through the 911 call from the friend, Spencer was on the floor. So could it be Spencer was trying to get somewhere, get a gun, get a weapon, or maybe he made him get on the floor, beg. See, all these scenarios will play out in your head. Because the only person that knows the truth are four people. Some of you want to say four? Exactly, four. Spencer, Monique, Michael, and God. God ain't talking. The Tepes ain't talking. And this fool here, we know he ain't talking. So you've got to now role play in your own head to what you think happened in that room, in that house. He wanted a clean scenario, just busting in, shooting at people, walking out. I don't think so. You know why I say no? Because he's been seething too long to just let it be a clean, let me go in here and just shoot him and walk out. You've been stalking the place, doing a dry run, tampering with doors and shit. You ain't just going up in there to stand over them in their sleep and shoot them and then walk out. No, he's going to want to tell them how he feels. How he feels. I won't doubt he woke them up. Get up, get up. Oh, when expecting me, were you? Hi, Monique. Hi, Spencer. And he probably went on and ranted. Why him? You've had kids with him. He's a dentist. Why a dentist? What did I do so bad? I loved you, blah, blah, blah. Probably told the husband, get on the floor, beg for mercy. Shot him, boom, boom, boom. He's dead. Now, playtime. Monique, I have you all to myself. You ran away from me. You left me. You divorced me, shamed me. And now look at you. You can't run nowhere. This is why this makes no sense to me, that this woman would not go to the authorities when she got this message or whatever on the 6th. Because she had to have gotten a message, because why would she get upset during a football game and leave out? Make it make sense. Gigi, thank you so much, sweetheart. Love you, babe. Make it make sense. You see, in a situation like this, everybody's got advice. One YouTuber's got a video of saying what she could have done, what could have been done to prevent this. Nothing could have been done to prevent this. That's really idiotic thought process. Because as one of you have said in the chat, I believe it was Bonnie Anderson said, he was going to get to her and that man by all means necessary. Exactly. 10 years, you've left me. I'm angry. We don't know if he was angry for all of the 10 years. He was angry for 8, angry for 1, angry for 2 months. Something set this man off to stalk her 24 days beforehand. We learned from Coffin Deffer's information, somebody had been searching the address, the home before the murders. Also, Michael's name had been searched. Now, why would you be searching for Michael's name when you don't even know that he exists when these people got murdered? You'd have to be really doing some sleuthing. And it ain't to say that we ain't got people out here on YouTube and everywhere else that would, Google her name and see who all she's been related to and see if she's been married. But the point is, Michael McKee probably was Googling himself. He Googled that house on the 5th. We get this information from Coffin Deffer. She went into Google search and it shows a high range of searches of this said house address, these people names on the 5th. And poof, voila, December 6th, he's at the house on video camera looking around. And yet we don't hear that this woman called the police, filed a restraining order or nothing. Why not? Because that's the point. You're going to live in fear for 20-something days. He was coming irregardless, okay? He was coming. And that's the whole point. If he couldn't get him in the house, he would get them outside. She's got to go outside. She's got to grocery shop. Who's to say the 4-year-old wasn't in daycare? Stay woke, everybody. Stay woke. Michael went to that house. Let's say it was a one-time drive run, December 6th. He had intentions of coming back. He had stolen license plate tags. Stay woke. This man was determined to get to this woman, her husband. When he was on the property, December 6th, what was he doing exactly? Playing with the door keypad to see which codes would work? Or did he find a way to jimmy the screws? As Coffin Deffer said, maybe he was taking the screws off, made his way in. See, what would even be more sick? he sent her a picture of him sitting inside of the house, not just pictures outside, back garage, backyard. Hey, honey, I'm in your house. I'm sitting in your living room. There's no way I would still stay in that house. You send me a picture of the car, the front door, the back door. Hell no, I ain't in here until somebody finds your ass and pays you a visit. And naturally, as I said, they were doomed either way because you're dealing with a loaded gun, literally with 2 feet. It doesn't matter if she said something, didn't say something, call the police, file a restraining order, harassment. He is pissed off. Don't you get it? He's pissed off. So even calling them, that has been said, that usually triggers them to act out. See, you can't win because you're dealing with a fucked up mind. So it's easy for us as outsiders to say what she should have done, not done. Why didn't you? Yeah, we're curious to, well, why didn't she file a report? Why didn't she say he was stalking her or send pictures? In the end, it would not have mattered. She probably was in fear for 20-something days. Spencer was in fear. Friends and family were in fear. But that's the point. You can't stop living because there's some dodo bird out here obsessed with you. And he showed that I'm going to get to this. I'm going to get to these people no matter what. And he did. And they could have moved. He still would have found them. Okay? Because money talks. You can pay people to stalk and follow people. And for all we know, he could have paid somebody to sit outside the house. Tell me what she's doing. Tell me where she goes. Tell me her schedule. Follow the husband. He has money. He had money. Did he ever pay anyone to follow the Tepes? We learned that he left his phone at home for 17 hours, and the phone was at his job in Rockford, Illinois. And naturally, he went back to work after the murders, as Coffin Dafford said, and Miss Banfield. How can you go back to work and just tweedledee, tweedledum around people as if nothing has happened? You have not went over to a whole other damn town, jurisdiction, state, and murdered 2 people in their own damn home. And then you have to go back and work in a children's hospital. And the fact that he works with children is even more depressing. How do you look at kids, but you're seething inside for another adult? It is something to think about. This man went back to a job where he works with children. He is a cardiovascular surgeon, meaning he works with itty bitty spiders. He is talking to people, nurses, doctors, family members, parents, on how to care for their child. And little did these people know, they have been talking to a wounded bird. And every time I look at this picture, his big jaws, his fat, thick neck, this man is huge. Did you see him standing in that courtroom? That man is huge. Who was fighting him off? Nobody. Nobody. And then he has the audacity to hire a prominent lawyer in Ohio to defend his crazy self. She also got a doctor off for homicide, different circumstances from what I heard. But the point is, she got the doctor off murder charges. So obviously she knows her craft, and she's also a death penalty lawyer. And most times, as you saw with the Corberger nonsense, the defense gets paid a nice lump sum of money dealing in any case pertaining to death penalty, a death penalty case. So this woman's probably going to make a lot of money defending this man. You also heard Ashley say he removed a sticker off his car. What type of sticker was it, or a sticker off the other car where he stole, I guess, the stickers off the cars? I don't know much about that. They haven't released all that information. But they can tell when they looked at the car, they said a sticker had been removed. Just bringing you the basics from the affidavit, everybody. If I left anything out, feel free to throw in the information. Just going over my notes. I think that's basically it. I summed it up because Ashley was going to be going on and you know, around the world and yeah. I got stuff I got to do today. It's birthday time, so most of you know I got to get out and celebrate. I'm not trying to focus on this death and doom all day. No disrespect to the dead and the family, but this becomes very daunting discussing dead people. As I was discussing with my landlord today, I was telling her, well, you know, there's an update pertaining to the story, and an affidavit has been released to the public. That is what was in the affidavit. I'm sure there's more information, and we'll get more information as time goes on. But it's obvious he had been stalking her. Don't know how long, don't know what triggered him. Don't know if he made himself into that house on December 6th, but he did send her something on the 6th while she and her husband were at this Big Ten game, a championship game in Indianapolis, and she abruptly left the stadium and went back to the hotel. I would be afraid to even leave. But maybe she felt safe to leave because she knew he was at her house. So she said, well, he can't get from there to here. So I'll go on over to the hotel. But I still would have been afraid that he even knew I was at the hotel. Because you don't know what he's been doing, but you know he's been busy. He's been busy watching. And people like this are scary because Michael did not live in Ohio. He lived in Chicago, Illinois, hours away. Okay? We're talking about hours away. This ain't no 30, 40-minute drive to peep and look and lurk and then go back to our cushy life in Chicago. We're talking about hours of driving. And then Rockford is a little ways from Chicago. So this man is just whack. But you see, as I have told you before, and I shared with you a true story of obsession, as I shared a story about my uncle who is no longer alive, and he was still obsessed with his ex-wife. She's no longer alive either. So naturally, I can share it without anybody coming for me saying, well, why are you telling that story? I'm telling it because it's relevant. You do have people who are walking around still caring for their ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whomever. And my uncle was one of those people. He was married to somebody else, but he still wanted to know about my Aunt Sharon. And I don't have any problems with telling that because it's a true story. It's not that I'm lying. And anybody who really knew my uncle and Sharon, you know I'm telling the truth. We talked about her all the time. He would call me, but her name would come up in the conversation before the phone hung up. Have you talked to your aunt? How's she doing? When last time did you see her? How's she looking? How are the kids? How are her grandkids? Blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I want to say, well, hell, are you calling to talk to Angela or are you wanting to talk about your ex-wife? And as I shared with you all, his wife was upset. But see, as I told you all in that story a week ago, she didn't have any right to be upset because she knew her husband was still in love with his first wife. You got to remember, sweetheart, you were sleeping around with a married man. Checkmate. What's good for the goose? So you're in love with somebody who is still in love with their first wife. Come on with it, Queen Preach. Yeah, I'm going to take you to church on Wednesday. You are in love with somebody who is still in love with their first wife. And yet you are angry with Queen. Because Queen is on her own phone talking to her uncle about his first wife. Who do you have a problem with? And I let both of them know. Both of you need to get it together because both of you are jacked up. Because you're walking around here still caring for somebody who don't want you. And then you got a whole wife that you really don't want, but you married her and you just stayed. And yes, people do that as well. They stay with people that they know they're not happy with and really don't want to be with. Because just like the situation with Monique leaving Michael, when she realized this motherfucker is crazy, he's taking the cookie and he's strangling me, I got to get out of here. You also got to ask yourself, when did he do that? And did he do it somewhere early in the marriage? And she still stayed because, you know, she was only with him 7 or 8 months. So we don't really know when he took the cookie and strangled her. But you understand what I'm saying? At some point she left. And I'm assuming it was probably a combination of that, and other things is why she left. But on the flip side of this situation, here, this true story I'm sharing with you. My uncle couldn't go back and get the wife. She didn't want him back. So he had to stay with this new wife that he didn't want. And she's obsessed with him. This is a story within a story, is it not? And Queen ain't telling you no lie, because I always thought they were a sad bunch of saps. And I used to say it to myself, what type of mess is this? You cheated on your wife with everything with a pulse. She finally divorces you, and then you marry the mistress, and you're not happy with the mistress, and you want your first wife back, but the first wife don't want you back, so you stay with the second wife, and the second wife is obsessed with you and your first wife. Did I say that correctly? I did. Did y'all hear what the Queen said? The new wife was obsessed with the husband and the first wife. Oh yeah, she called my aunt. We know it was her. It was either her or somebody she put on to call my aunt and leave nasty messages one summer. He doesn't want you. He doesn't like you. You look stupid chasing a married man. Oops, you forgot that was her husband. Checkmate. You mean, why is your husband chasing his first wife? Correction. But see, when you are delusional, such as Mr. McKee, you see what you want to see. You hear what you want to hear. And this is what happens when you are all fucked up and tangled up in your feelings. Your mind starts to tell you bullshit. They'll leave, they'll come back, One day they'll choose me. We've all done it. You've been jilted, you've been mistreated, and you prayed and hoped the person will see the light and choose you. Or you've liked somebody, but they just weren't interested. And you hope they would choose you. You would do things to make them choose you. They never did. And somewhere you got lost in la la land, or like, lust, love, in love, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of times, this stuff that I'm speaking of is nothing but lust. But we don't want to tell ourselves that we are lusting in behind a two-legged creature, that it was never love. Because we already know that when somebody's mistreating you, how can it be love? But we don't tell ourselves that. I love him, but. I love her, but. And that's where the problem comes in, is it not? The but. I love him, but he's an alcoholic. I love him, but he's a drug addict. I love him, but he's violent. I love her, but she don't pay me any attention. I love her, but she ignores me. Say, whoa. This is a tragic case of obsession, being jilted. And the one thing you have to tell yourself is how you treat people. You can't walk around angry because the person doesn't want you back. Such as my uncle, he wanted his first wife back. He wanted Sharon back, but you can't have her back because when you had her, you were disrespectful to her. You cheated on her. You were sleeping around with every woman you could find. Why would she want you? And then once she divorced you, you just couldn't accept she left you. And when you married the mistress, you realize, hell no, I don't want to be with this chick. She ain't Sharon. Of course she's not. Dorothy. Yeah, I'm saying your damn name. But I'm gonna do a true confession during this live. So don't get offended, because I always like to bring a little true story in with true crime that I'm talking about. Dorothy, you have always been a mean, vindictive motherfucker. I don't care if somebody finds you and tell you about this live stream. I can back it up. You didn't want my grandmother around once you married my uncle. He was sick in the hospital with a stroke. You didn't want anybody in the hospital. You were possessive of him. Even my own grandmother was possessive of her son, Jerry. That's one of her favorites. Yeah, I come from some very demented folks. I'll go ahead and admit it on this live stream. See, toxicity attracts toxicity. All of you were pining over a sick man in a hospital bed. And all along while everybody's pining over my uncle, Jerry, he's still wanting his damn first wife. Come on with it, Queen, preach. I bet somebody's like, "Ooh, Queen, stop it." Not today. Let the chips fall where they may. You see, this is what sickness can do to you. Everybody's vying the attention of somebody who wasn't worthy. Yeah, I can say that he's dead, and I say that he was alive. He wasn't worthy of love, my uncle, because he didn't love himself. That was the reason why he was sleeping with all these different women. And then his wife woke up and said, fuck this, I'm tired of this. They were calling her even when she was married to him. Oh, I left that part out. I don't need to stay. Get the hell out of this marriage. Now, she never said that he mistreated her or beat her up or physically violent, but he was disrespectful to the marriage and to her. She got her suitcase. I'm out of here. And he suffered. So you see, the people who suffer in these relationships sometimes don't want to own their shit, that they were the doer, such as what we're hearing about Michael. You were a doer. Doer means you were not nice. And now you're walking around crying as if somebody's done something to you. But now you want to get revenge when you were at all the property. Checkmate. And that's what they do. They whimper, they cry, they moan, they worry people to death. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? How she's doing? How she's looking? Blah, 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 blah. Worrying you to death when you had the person. Come on, Queen Preach. You had the person, but you didn't want to prove that you were worthy to be with them. Instead, you disrespected them, and the person said, I'm out of here. And that's what Monique did. That's what my aunt did. They both left because they knew they deserved better. And then these people are sitting around, Michael, my uncle, mad at the world. You did this to yourself. Now, my uncle didn't go find his ex-wife and try to unalive her. Different than Mr. McKee. McKee said, she's not worthy of life, even though I mistreated her. I sexually assaulted her. I strangled her. I want her dead. This is a vile story. This is more vile than the heat of passion. You come home and see your wife in the bed with a man, and then you pop off, beat him in the head, or beat her in the head. Michael has had too many years to where he should have had self-discovery. He should have gotten therapy. He should have went to India, Africa, Iran somewhere and found himself. Do what the famous people do when they're having a bad damn day. They go and take a fucking vacation somewhere to find themselves. Michael McKee, that's what you should have done. You should have went to Ireland. You should have went somewhere where people are less fortunate. You should have done something, honey, and found yourself. And gave thanks to God that you're alive, you're talented, you have a career, and stop pining over somebody that you mistreated and let it go. But you couldn't do that because you had to be the winner. You had to be the person who got the last word. That's what this is all about. I got to get the last word in. I find myself being like that. I got to get that last word in. I got to let this person know how I feel. Ding, ding, ding. They don't give a fuck. Nothing you say or do is going to matter when you are dealing with a wounded bird. You could stomp, cry, roll over, stand on your head. They still going to be the same person. And see, Michael knew that about Monique. She ain't coming back. She don't want to talk. She don't want to deal with me. But I'm going to find a way to get her attention. Oh, you most definitely did that. And that's why I believe this was not a quick run in the house, shoot them, walk back out. Oh, hell no. Because you're talking about 10 or so years of allegedly no contact. But I believe he's made contact. He's probably sent all type of shit, messages, this and that. She's changing emails, phone numbers. See, you got to ask that question too. Did she ever change her phone number? Did she ever block him? Did they ever send threats, emails, all that type of things? You got to ask that. Send messages through friends. It's going to also be depressing if we find out that one of her so-called friends was a snake and they were passing messages back to Mr. McKee telling their every waking move, what they're doing, where they're going, conversations. Because you do have two-sided friends. They straddle the fence. Are we going to find out there was a snake in the grass? Oh, yeah, they're going over here, they're doing this. Just like it was said in this Ashley Banfield's podcast, people post to social media, more than likely they posted, we're going to the game on Saturday. Can't wait to go. God forbid they even told which hotel they were staying at. See, a lot of people talk too much. So I keep trying to tell you all, you have to be careful what you post. You think the stuff you're posting is innocent. Because I hear this a lot from people. I can do what I want, I'm grown. I'm transparent. Oh, Lord, do I hear that a lot. I'm transparent. I don't care. I don't care about my past. I don't care if people know what I did. I don't care if they know I smoked dope. I used to get high. I was an alcoholic. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care if they know I was a streetwalker. I don't care. Yeah, you should. What's that old saying? Silence is golden. Exactly. Because what do I keep saying to people? I say to you all the time, all that shit you be posting on Facebook, IG, where you went, you took a trip to Dubai, New York. There is somebody watching that and they're looking at you like, I could give a fuck that you went to New York and your husband bought you a new ring and he bought you a new Lexus. They just won't tell you to your face. You keep posting pictures of your son, and he's a football player for the high school. He won an award. Your daughter got a scholarship, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to tell you, there is somebody looking at you, and they don't care about your accomplishments. They don't care about your kids' accomplishments. They don't care about you getting ready to have a grandbaby. They don't care about the new boat you bought. Somebody don't hear me. Somebody's tired of the shit you're posting. Oh my God, she's on again. You know, I've heard it from people when I go out, where I'm going to go tonight for my birthday. Oh my God, you're always going live. I can go live. It's my fucking phone. I pay the due bill. Are you all following what I'm saying to you? Why would that bother you? I have my phone out. When other people in the bar have their phones out. This is the part of the story where I was always confused. This is what, see, Queen ain't gonna tell you nothing that ain't making no sense about life, because I've lived and I know people. People get irritated with you for the stupidest stuff. Do you know how many people I see when I go out in the Walmart, the mall, in their car? What do they have out? Their phone. I don't want to run up to the car door, put that phone down. How are you shopping in Walmart with your phone out? Stay woke, everybody. But when Angela pulls her phone out this one day a week, it's as if it's the Holocaust. Oh my God, every time I come in here, you always got your phone out. And you do too. Why does it bother you? I'm out having a good time, enjoying myself, minding my business. This phone is bothering you because I'm going live. And I remember somebody saying it to me a few months ago, and they said, oh, I saw that you went out, but you didn't go live. I didn't say nothing because it didn't want a response. I know why I didn't go live. And I ain't had to discuss why I didn't go live. Very reason why I don't like going live anymore from YouTube. One, copyrights, because there's music playing in the background. And two, somebody might walk up and say the wrong damn thing that I don't want people in the audience to hear. Facebook as well. Because there's certain things I might want to have private, and I don't want everybody in YouTube land knowing all my damn business. Do you understand what I'm saying? But like somebody can say, where you going live? You should know there's a chance somebody might say something you don't want repeated. Exactly. So we don't go live on YouTube when I go out. You see, there's always people watching you. There are people who don't like you. There are people who probably hate you, despise you, and you're never going to know because they're never going to come tell you they don't like you. And frankly, you don't have to tell people that you don't like them. Maybe it's just something about the personality. It ain't a vibe. It just ain't a vibe, you know? It can happen. But this is deeper than it ain't a vibe. We're talking about pure hatred. And that's a difference. Walking around mad and bitter because a relationship didn't work out. And as people have been saying, thank God Monique left when she did. Exactly. But the point is, she was on borrowed time and didn't even know it. That's even more scary. In her mind, she's thinking, I'm going to free myself from this demon. I'm getting the hell out of here. But little did she know the clock was ticking. That's why I know he woke her up. Because he had to have the last word. And she got to see her life play back. Stay with me now. She got to see her life play back at that very moment in her own bed with her new husband, new life. She got to see her life play back because ain't nobody gonna tell me that man didn't wake her up. He wanted her to know, I'm here in your bedroom. I'm angry. I'm mad at you. Look what you've done to me. Oh yeah, he woke her up. I want you to know what you've done to me, lady. I want your husband to know. That's why I believe Michael was on the floor. Because it's funny, she's not even mentioned in the 911 call. Why not? They're in the same damn bedroom, unless she slept in another room with a baby or something. Were they in the same bed sleeping that night? Did he wake up Mr. Spencer to let him know I have arrived? I've got something I want to say to you. Did he wake up Monique? I say yes. Did he go in and look at the children? Possibly. On the 6th, had he made entry into the house? Possibly. Are we going to find out this woman knew this man had been in her house and she still didn't call the damn police? Possibly. And that's even scarier. She wouldn't even notify the police knowing this man has possibly been in her damn house. Did she tell her husband, I think, he's been in the house? Because he'd have to say, well, what's wrong with you? Why'd you leave the game? What happened? I can't see Spencer saying, hey, no, we're not going to call the police. No, a man would say, no, we got to call the police. This is my house. I pay bills here. I have children here. You're my wife. I cannot have this man snooping around and he's made entry into this house. I can't see a man agreeing with his wife to not call the law. Or he take a drive to Rockford, Illinois and confront him face to face. But I don't know what type of guy Spencer is. But it'll be a shame if we find out Spencer knew that man had been on the property and or in the house and agreed with the wife not to call the police. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Why would they not call the law? I don't care what he has said. Because what you have to tell yourself, you don't know what the end result's going to be. But if he's bold enough, one, to sit in front of the house, sit on the step, look on the bang on the door, look through the windows, walk around the house, sit, pull out a cigar, he's going to come back. Anybody listening? He will be back. And he knows there's a doorbell camera. He knows there are cameras in the neighborhood on the house. He didn't care. Because we're all asking the same damn questions. Why? So, see, he didn't care. So all this switching tags, stealing tags, buying a gun that's linked to some bullshit, he didn't care. Because just in the instance, he's trying to hide, leaving the phone at the job, leaving the phone for 17 hours. He still did stupid shit by pulling up in his own car, surveying the property, switching tags and putting it on the same damn vehicle to go to the scene of the crime to kill the people. He's still fucked up. Frankly, he could have just waited till they came out and shot him. And they just went and turned himself in because he still was tracked. But see, this is what happens when you're dealing with a delusional mind. One minute you think you're taking all these necessary steps not to be apprehended, not to be seen, but yet you're still doing things to point the finger at you. Such as being seen, number one, being seen in your car being traced, whether it was stolen tags on it or not. Still, they can identify the make and model of your car. Michael McKee is selfish because he thinks he can walk in his life, mistreat a person, and own the person. No, sir. It doesn't work like that. And not only own the person, mistreat the person, but then later unalive that person. And then have the right to go into court and say, I plead not guilty. I didn't do it. You have me mistaken. Wasn't me. Oh, but it was you. Now, my understanding that this young lady, Ms. Menashe, she's a very good attorney. Let's see what she can pull off as far as her client not being the culprit. Because it's going to be hard to prove CCTV footage of your client snooping around that house on the 6th. His silver SUV at the scene, the 6th and the 30th. And God forbid any other day. Text messages, emails to this lady, to her husband, any type of mail. The phone don't lie. He kept the murder weapon. He kept the silencer. He kept the car. So, Ms. Menashe, I cannot wait to see what trick you have up your sleeve to attempt to get your client off of these said murder charges and possibly get him to not receive the death penalty. Now, they have said Ohio has not put anyone to death since I believe it's 18. Maybe the great citizens of Ohio will change their damn mind and say, oh, hell yeah, he got to go. He murdered 2 people in cold blood with intent. Use the silencer to, 1, not wake up the children, and not wake up neighbors, of course. Not draw attention. I just can't imagine having this much hate. And I get it, we all have had our moments in life where we have despised people, possibly hated people. But I don't want to ever be a Michael McKee. I don't want to be a Monique Tepe. I don't want to be a Spencer either. And definitely wouldn't want to be the children. I don't want to walk around having feelings for someone to where now I want him dead. And I know what it's like to walk around having feelings for somebody year for year for year, and you're starting to count the years yourself, and you're saying to yourself, oh dear God, why am I in this position? Why do I care for this person? I know this person is not good for me. They do not mean me any good. And I still have feelings for a fool. Yes, it's a terrible place to be. I will testify before the court. It is a terrible place to be. What you have to do is pray to God to remove the stone, remove you from that situation. Ask God to put you in a better frame of mind to where you no longer think about this person. Desire the company of this person. And hopefully someday you wake up, you don't desire this person. You don't desire to see or hear from this person, and you don't desire to be in the company of this person, and nor do you want to exact harm against that person. That's what Mr. McKee should have done. He should have prayed to God. Because through Christ, everything is possible. He didn't give himself that luxury. He wanted to revel in being miserable. And that's what a lot of people do, because we know it's easier to stay mad than try to be happy. Easier to be angry than try to find joy. This man could have dated any woman, but then we have to say, is he worthy of being dateable? Probably not. Because he has issues. But I won't doubt they come from childhood, as always. We learn that he's an adopted child. So you got to ask yourself the genetics. Will we find out that he came from horrible people, violent people? It's in his genes. Who knows? Then you got to ask yourself, how was he treated by the adoptive parents? Because we're getting an understanding from different people who knew him as a child, young person. He was always quiet, nice kid, respectable, blah, 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 good athlete, sell well in the books, not the type to rock the boat until the 6th and the 30th. He did decide to rock the boat. Michael McKee came out. But then we have to say, well, Michael McKee came out when he was with Monique. Ding, ding, ding. Other people just didn't know it. Isn't that amazing? All these different people giving their 411 to law enforcement about the Michael McKee they knew back then. But he was a demon back then, even before unaliving the Tepes. Stay woke, everybody. He hadn't popped off to others. But when you are sexually assaulting people and taking the cookie and strangling someone, you have lashed out. But you are hoping nobody finds out. And she knew not to tell it. She could have ruined his career. Oh, he really would have tried to kill her then. I gotta get out of here. I'm done with this. Smooth criminal, honey. Boom, boom, boom. Get out of here. And he was glad because he knows she could have ruined his career. That's the last thing you need is an assault record allegation while in med school and while doing your residency. Oh, that wouldn't look good. He really would have been on the warpath. He definitely would have hunted her down. So that's why I'm saying I don't think it would have mattered. We are where we are right now because we're dealing with a demon. So it wouldn't have mattered if she pressed charges back then. Charges would probably have been thrown out depending on her jurisdiction because she's married to him. Every state I don't think recognizes, marital RAPE. So you see, it probably would have been bad. Because then he would have been embarrassed that people know allegedly he sexually assaulted his own wife and strangled her. Somebody would have found out. People always do. And he definitely would have been angry. Even if there were no charges. Charges dismissed, charges dropped, charges reduced. He's got to be able to work, he's got to be able to live, take care of himself. That's not something you want on your record and you're trying to become a doctor, a surgeon. So this lady's been carrying around these terrible wounds from Mr. McKee, and little did she know that she was on borrowed time. And that's a scary feeling. And I think we all take for granted how long we actually have above this dirt. That today you're enjoying life, having fun, and tomorrow you're going to walk outside and be in a car crash or bludgeoned to death or bludgeoned in your own sleep, your own bed. But you don't know that. And what would be even more disturbing is if Monique had a premonition that her time was borrowed and that her time was coming. And she feared that she was going to not be around to be married and to be a parent. Because it'll be disturbing to know he had been sending her messages and she feared for her safety and feared for the day she would have to fight off Mr. McKee. That's the latest developments coming out of Ohio. He is currently incarcerated, Franklin County Jail. I don't know if he's going to get a bond or not. God forbid they give him a bond. They probably knock off other people. I brought you the basics to the affidavit. I'm sure there'll be more updates as they continue to investigate this crime. Once again, condolences and prayers to the Tepe family. Prayers for their children because we now have two children without their parents. I don't know where they're living, who they're with. And I pray that also does not become a problem because naturally both sides may want the children. And we have learned with death, people turn on one another, they become vengeful as well, start arguing. Because you got to remember, these people left behind cars, bank accounts, furniture, belongings. There'll always be a disagreement. This comes with death. But hopefully these people can work all of those things out to where there won't be any more evil spirits walking around. You will always be my wife. I can find you anywhere. I can even buy a house next door to you. That is what has been alleged that Michael McKee said to Monique Tepe. When was the last time he made contact with her? Was it December 6th? Was it December 29th, 28th, 15th? Was the 6th a dry run for him to enter into the Tepe home? Because I don't think he was there just to take pictures and stare at the building. He's on video going to this place for hours, and that is scary as hell. What was Michael McKee doing on this property for hours? Did he make entry into the home December 6, 2025? If so, what did he do inside of the home? Did Monique knew that he made contacts in that house on the 6th, but did not tell her husband exactly what he did or didn't do or say? And if both knew he made entry into the home or just at the property itself, why didn't they file a report and a restraining order? That's my commentary, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Follow me on the Newsbreak app. Take the polls on my community page. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji129 Cash App. Stickers and checks are always welcome to the live stream. And if you'd like to send me a birthday donation, feel free. I surely don't mind. Yes, tomorrow the Queen will be 55 years of age. God is good. I'm praying for a peaceful new year. I pray that my fans and people who view this, you also have a prosperous, safe new year. And once again, please stay warm from this weather. If you know someone in need of a coat, a sweater, a hat, please donate because there are a lot of homeless people. And maybe there's some people who just don't have a lot of winter gear. If you have some items to donate to charity or to a shelter, to a church, please do so. And make sure to turn the faucets on a drip and open your bottom cabinet so your pipes do not freeze. And also don't forget about the pets. It is too cold to leave your animals outside. It is too cold for your pets to be outside. So far, I believe 29 people have perished due to the winter weather, and 2 people were found deceased this week in Knoxville, Tennessee. They were found deceased outside. I'm going to assume that they were homeless and did not have shelter. The CARM organization here in Knoxville, Tennessee will be housing homeless people through the day and the night and offering 3 meals a day. So if you are in Knoxville, Tennessee, you can go to CARM. They will have a bed for you or in the overflow room for you to have somewhere to sleep during the inclement weather. Thank you all for your time. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you, Gigi.